Scratches that are barely felt by the finger on high-gloss finishes can be rubbed out as long as the finish is thick enough to withstand some sanding and rubbing. If the finish is not thick enough, more finish must be applied before using this procedure. If you're not sure, be careful when sanding and rubbing not to break through the lacquer and into the color. Sand the scratch using P800A waterproof sandpaper with a lubricant. Once the scratch is gone, follow up with P1000A and P1200A waterproof sandpaper with a lubricant to reduce the size of the sanding marks. Sand in the direction of the grain. A sanding block is recommended. Next, we start with Level 2 liquid rubbing compounds, which come in a series of 3 steps. Begin with Level 2 Step 1 to remove the sanding marks. Apply to a soft cloth or directly to the surface. Rub vigorously and then remove the residue. Next, we apply Level 2 Step 2 to increase the gloss. If the finish now has a high enough gloss, stop at this step. Only use as many steps in a series of compounds as is necessary to achieve the desired finish. If a higher gloss is desired, go on to Level 2 Step 3. Each successive step raises the sheen. If a still higher sheen is required, apply Polybuff rubbing compound medium in the same manner. Polybuff also has fine and extra fine steps for a very high sheen. All of these compounds may be applied with a power buffer as well as by hand. Apply the compound of your choice directly to the surface. Move the buffer in a steady manner, being sure not to stop for a long period of time in one spot so as not to burn the finish. Also, be careful not to wear away the finish and the color on the edges. Incidentally, there is an exception to the rule of sanding with the grain. Some tabletops have veneers applied in 3 or more directions. Some also have another veneer band around the outer rim of the top. There is no way to sand with the grain in such a case because the grains go in too many directions. If such a top has been rubbed, almost always it has been rubbed parallel to the table leaves or parallel with the end.